Trump is increasingly unstable and unhinged.
On the American campaign trail on Monday, Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris and her Republican opponent, Donald Trump, presented strikingly different themes in an attempt to sway undecided voters in the final 2 weeks before Election Day. During their campaign, Vice President Harris and Republican former Senator Liz Cheney tried to persuade conservative suburban women in 3 battleground Midwestern states that former President Trump was a threat to democracy, national security, and the right to an abortion. Harris has been intensifying her criticism of Trump's suitability for office as the election approaches. She frequently refers to him as unstable or unhinged and raises concerns about his temperament.
He is someone who will stop at nothing to claim power for himself. Watch his rallies. Listen to his words. He tells us who he is. Donald Trump is increasingly unstable and unhinged. And he is out for unchecked power. That's what he's looking for. He wants to send the military after American citizens.
During a gathering in Malvern, Pennsylvania, the 60-year-old Harris stated that in many, many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man, but the consequences of him being president of the United States are brutally serious. The 78-year-old Trump regularly disputes the idea that he poses a threat to democracy, claiming that Democrats are the true aggressors due to the ongoing criminal investigations that he and his friends are the subject of in an effort to reverse his defeat in the 2020 election. Harris questioned the qualifications of the Biden administration while implying that Trump was unfit to hold office.
I will not give you a medical analysis of his fitness, but on every other level, when it comes to what we should expect in a president of the United States around having the ability to actually exercise good judgment, both as commander-in-chief and as the leader of this great country, we know that he does not have the ability to do the job. He is unfit for office. He talks at his rallies about fictional characters. He constantly is in a state of grievance about himself.
On Monday, at one of his multiple stops in fiercely competitive North Carolina, Trump encouraged his supporters in the hurricane-ravaged mountains to cast their ballots in spite of their current circumstances. In an effort to connect with his working-class followers, he also continued to criticize FEMA, the emergency management agency, and praised his tireless efforts on his own behalf.
Certainly, you have all heard the same stories that we all hear, that FEMA has done a very poor job. They were not supposed to be spending the money on taking in illegal migrants, maybe so they could vote in the election, because that's a lot of people are saying that's why they're doing it.
At an evangelical Christian gathering in Concord, North Carolina, Trump concluded his day by addressing the crowd that he prefers to believe that he was knocked to the ground by a supernatural hand during the failed attempt to assassinate him on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania.
And my faith took on new meaning on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, where I was knocked to the ground, essentially, by what seemed like a supernatural hand. And I would like to think that God saved me for a purpose, and that's to make our country greater than ever before.
Leader of the evangelical movement, Franklin Graham, prayed for Trump to win. Graham stated that rallies and positive poll numbers are not going to win this election. It's going to be God.
The only hope for this country is God. Okay? That's the only hope. How many here believe in the power of prayer? Raise your hand. President Trump holds the greatest rallies. No one in the history of the United States has put on rallies like Donald Trump. Nobody. People will stand for hours in line. The energy is unmatched. People leave excited, pumped up. There's nothing like a Trump rally. However, rallies and positive poll numbers are not going to win this election. It's going to be God. There's a spiritual element that's at work here. There are dark forces that are arrayed against this man. They've tried to put him in prison. They've tried to assassinate him twice. He's attacked every day in the media. And the only hope for Donald J. Trump and our nation is God. I've encouraged President Trump that when he wakes up in the morning, that the first thing he does is to ask God for help. And if he does, God will hear and God will answer his prayer.